Yeah.
So in addition to having been in the tournament game for 25 plus years and a partner in one of the elite West Coast tournaments, you also manage a facility called the Lab, um, and I've had teams play at the Lab. I've had teams practice at the Lab. So, how long have you been managing the Lab, and what's been some of the pros and cons of running a facility? Because again, I think, like for example, we know that there's the facility in Central Phoenix, and that AZ Select operates out of, and they've had the benefit, since it's a private gym, to keep some things moving in the midst of all of this, which has been a benefit to their club program. It's been a benefit to their players, particularly those who were seniors last year. It was a benefit to them. So I see value in having a facility. If you put yourself in the shoes of a club organization, what would be some of the pros and some of the cons of managing your own facility?
Well, so about 2.5 years ago, I took over the lab. It was called Supreme Court,
Mm-hmm.
and it was owned by another gentleman that he just got tired. He had other opportunities work wise, so I took it over. And I immediately brought in Monique Mo Ballin in because, as you know, to run a business, you have to have strong individuals and positive people around you to be successful.
Right.
So, we immediately changed the name to the lab. And what's special about the lab, and you can attest to this, is that it's not anybody's gym. It's not the Gremlins. It's not AZ Select. It's open for everybody. We have rentals. We have Gremlins in there. We have fire in there. We have volleyball in there. We have roller skating in there. And that's my biggest thing, is I didn't want to tag a name on there where people can say, oh, we're going into this place and they're taking our players. Because and people don't realize I don't have a club program. I have Just4Hoopin. I don't have a club program.
Mm-hmm.
I have a ton of club teams that practice, and I know them all. But I think that's the pros on that for me, was to open the facility and just open arm and let people know that they can come in there and enjoy it. And it's a little secluded place, but it's doing its part.
Absolutely. And I do think that so there needs to be facilities out there for guys that, hey, I'm not trying to build a program. I have a son, he wants to play basketball. We have 10 kids in the neighborhood. We're going to put a team together. I'm going to spend time with them, and I'm going to coach them. I can go to the lab and rent time. As long as there's availability, and I'm the next guy in line, I can get access to the court. No politics, none of this and none of that. I can go and get access to the court. I definitely think there's something there. What have been some of your challenges with running and maintaining a facility? Because running a gym's not easy.
Yeah. How much time do you have? No, no.
Just a couple of bullet points. Just a couple of bullet points.
To be honest, for those of you that have been to the lab, and it's an older building, so it's an older structure. So that's my biggest issue is that it's constantly, we have to maintain it, and it goes from the plumbing to the air. I mean, we just literally got the air fixed 3 days ago, and I have 9 units on the roof, and out of 9 units, seven of them were down. So I was going with 2 units. So now we have air in the lab. Everybody's excited.
I bet.
It's just little things like that. It's an older building, and the upkeep is, it's a challenge. But like I said, I get up every morning and I'm up for the challenge, because at the end of the day, that's a place for kids, parents to go and call it their own.
I like that. And for what people may not realize, at the time of this taping, we've been through a heck of a heat wave. So to have activities in a gym that should have 9 units and only have 2 units working, those 2 units were working overtime, and people probably were still sweating. So with that said, do you think, I want to get your feedback on my thinking. Do you think if you are a person and your thing is, I want to build a program, let's use the Gremlins. I'm the Gremlins. I want to build a program, and I believe they leverage several different gyms like most big programs do. Every program I've been associated with that had more than a handful of teams leverage multiple high school gyms or church gyms, et cetera. They got a network of gyms. Does it make sense for them to pursue their own facility as a model? Could you see there being any type of cost benefits, any type of development benefits of having your own facility as a club program, as opposed to renting from 5 to 6 different providers?
Absolutely. I think that if you have a club program and you're trying to build your program to an elite level, and when I mean elite level, I'm talking about where you travel, and because at the end of the day, and this is what I tell parents, is that, and I might be a little bit off here, but I tell parents their ultimate goal is to get their kids scholarships. That's their ultimate goal.
Great.
If you can save $80,000, then you're doing your job. And so during the summer, these teams, they have to go to at least 2 or 3 major events out of town, out of state, where coaches are looking at them. And I always say, you got to at least get to California, Houston, and Vegas. I'm not a big Vegas fan, but they run big events over there. So to answer your question, I think that if you have an opportunity to get a facility, I would highly recommend that. Now, the downside is that facilities are not cheap. So
right.
You got to see, okay, are we going to build from the ground up, or are we going to just go into a warehouse? And people got to realize that like Fry's, Bash's, all these stores that are available, you got to look at the pillars inside, because the pillars are usually 48 feet, which you need at least a 52 feet to have room on your courts. So there's a lot of little stuff that goes into, before you say, oh, I'm just going to open a gym. Now, there are gyms out there, and I won't name names, but there are gyms out there that are beautiful, that are absolutely beautiful. And, and there's 5, 6 courts, and, they're doing a good job. I think that if I was to start a club program, I would probably try and find a place with 2 courts, because like the lab, because at the end of the day, your 2 courts, now it becomes your training. And now it becomes, you can do birthday parties there, and now you can do, there's a lot of other opportunities. Right now, I'm looking to get yoga into the lab right now. I'm time-wise, it's very, very difficult, because I've got everything, I've got basketball.
Right.
Yeah.
And
which it's in a basketball facility. So,
right.
We're getting it done.